back to the Dave Nemo Show.
We're back here, by the way, at the ACT Expo. We're over here at the Media Interviews and Content Creator Zone, which is a glorified way of saying the place where people do a lot of talking and thinking, dreaming, and scheming. Senior Vice President of Incentives, TRC, Clean Transportation Solutions, Joe Annotti joins us this morning here. How are you doing, man?
It's good. The show's going real well. As the event host, this is exactly what we wanted to see. And bringing together about 12,000 folks this year, 500 sponsors and exhibitors, over 300 speakers. It's everything we wanted to see out of the industry, and at a time that's really pivotal to us. So much uncertainty in the market. We're seeing these keynotes come through with major commitments and new updates. 200 plus different pieces of equipment on the floor. It's really a great opportunity for our fleets and our customers and our industry to get together and kind of break bread and see where we're at.
We are at an inflection point,
big time,
and I'm going to say that in neutral terms, because there's a lot of ways this could go. I mean, and so I don't want to get into that, but I do want to talk about what I've been talking about with the people we've spoken to who are here in attendance at this conference. What is coming up here? At the core, I think what you guys are trying to achieve is getting people the information they need directly from the sources from which it is coming, and number two, helping them forge the partnerships that they're going to need to have if, in fact, they are going to launch on a sustainable, if they're going to launch on the latest technologies, if they're going to launch for what's coming next in regards to how transportation and getting goods and services to people all over the country for the next decade, 25, 50 years. How'd I do?
It's exactly right. The point of the show is connection. It's designed to serve as a lighthouse for our market, and right now we are in stormy seas, and so we need to have our industry be able to look to a place where they can say, okay, that's my understanding of current things. I'm hearing directly from this agency. I'm hearing directly from this truck maker. I'm hearing directly from this utility and infrastructure provider. And now I know, as a fleet, as a stakeholder, as an entity, I know exactly where the market stands. And that's why this show exists.
From what you're kind of hearing out there, and like I said, the people I've talked to have actually been excited to be here, and they're really kind of stoked about. It's also one of those things where, often people will find a chat room, social media group. They'll often find a game club they belong to, a rugby league they belong to. There is something joyful about finding people who actually, nobody's here being like, I don't know about this sustainability, this electrification, all this kind of stuff. I'm just going to go check it out and make fun of people. Nobody's here for that reason. So there is a certain level of connective tissue, a connective energy, as it were. Can you talk about how you guys put this together, the actual logistic reality of it, to make sure you maximize that for everybody who's in attendance?
Yeah, we take a lot of cues from our attendees themselves. And so when we put the agenda together and the show floor together, we are actively engaging the truck makers and the fleets to say, what is it that you want to hear about? What is it that you want to see? What do you want to touch? What needs to be in the ride and drive? And so when we're putting our content together, it's because that content is based on questions and needs of the attendees themselves. And so we have this whole workshop on AI and digital transformation because that's what the market asked for. And so we're putting all that content together because they need to see it. So we pull on these top keynotes, these top CEOs. When we have the CEO of Cummins on the main stage yesterday, they are the biggest engine maker in the world and arguably one of the biggest players at the table. And so when their CEO comes, that's a bellwether moment for the market to understand what they're going to do. What is Cummins going to do next? And with that X15 platform is hugely critical to the success of the heavy-duty market moving forward. So that's how logistically, when we put all the agenda and the floor together, it's all driven by what the market is demanding.
We actually have a lot of drivers that listen to this program, a lot of drivers, and a lot of them are gamers. A lot of them have to find ways to spend their 10 hours, their 34 hours, and my brain often functions that way too. I was kind of struck as Tara and I walked in here. I said, look, you've got a grand narrative in the keynote speakers and the big addresses. That's the kind of overall story, but there's a lot of side missions here. Totally. There's a map that you slowly but surely move through as you kind of complete this adventure. At the end of the day, given the people who are going to be speakers, given the people who have spoken, given the stuff that's being conversed about, take me through not just the overall message that's being communicated here, but all the potential, I'll use the metaphor again, the side missions that people can take to kind of put together, because at the end of the day, a conference is a mosaic of all the players. Talk to me about the way it's been laid out, how people can kind of flow through here. I'm in attendance. What do I do?
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, coming in, there's designed to be a lot of different passion points, and I think the through message, as you mentioned, is one, and it came through in Jennifer Rumsey's keynote yesterday, is togetherness. And Matthias Karlbaum from International echoed that as well. It's like, this isn't, anybody way out front at the bleeding edge. Like, we're all kind of in it together. And so that through message of togetherness and like we're gonna work together to figure this all out is really kind of the connective tissue that puts this show together. Now at that point, you then go on your individual paths, right, to figure things out. And so
metaphor works, doesn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And we've got this, there's an infrastructure bent. So like if you go to that side of the show floor, it's a lot of charger guides and figuring out, what's the right plug and what's the, is it a CHAdeMO thing and kind of infrastructure. There's the operators. So for your audience, from the driver perspective, you kind of move to this side of the hall where it's a little bit more user interface and ride and drive and kind of, kicking the tires on things. So it's really where the togetherness initially, and then you kind of you branch off into your individual pathways.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to say it too, but it's, the thing is that we're trying to figure out this kind of great thing that's going on in trucking right now. How do we create an environment that is comprehensive in regards to how it welcomes people, how it creates partnerships, how everybody can play by certain rules that guarantee everybody get an equal shot at success,
Sure.
while still allowing, here we go again, customization.
Yeah.
That you can create your own character.
Yeah.
That you can figure out, and then you can figure out how that character kind of plays through. Because at the end of the day, there's a whole, we talk about the inflection point. Follow me here. So this inflection point involves a lot of new rules, a lot of new acts, a lot of new administrative decisions. All, like I said, from a neutral standpoint, everybody here needs to be on the same page, because they all need to understand how those rules work so they can all work together to sustain the sustainability of
Totally.
what's going on right now.
And from a driver's perspective, I can't imagine the challenge of trying to keep up with all this stuff. There's so much noise, regulatorily speaking, that it's a nightmare to try to track all that stuff. And from the driver's perspective, and what we're focused on too, is at the end of the day, you got to go from A to B, and you've got to do that in the most efficient and safe way as possible. And right now, this crazy regulatory push that we saw over the past 4 years, and now the absolute reverse of that is happening. That makes it really challenging from a driver's perspective. And so we're trying to figure, again, it's that lighthouse analogy. We're trying to figure out how to be that beacon and say, okay, this is actually what's happening from a safety perspective, from a fuel perspective, from an efficiency perspective. This is what's going to impact at the end of the day how your fleet's going to run.
We'll go back to the analogy again. It becomes the marketplace, it becomes the hub, it becomes the safe room.
Sure.
I mean, the idea that you can actually kind of locate yourself here. I also want to talk about, what you want communicated, because I've always said that a great conference is about players coming, and then they leave, and then they deliver the message to their employees.
Yeah.
They deliver the message to their partners. This is what we heard, and this is why we're going to go here. What is your best case scenario in regards to when someone leaves here, what they're taking from here, and what they're bringing back, and how that sustains the industry?
Education, for me, and what we do, education is the critical path. And I think what we've largely suffered from the industry is just not being aware of everything new and changing, and this is what it actually means. So there's so many acronyms that get thrown out at a show like this, but the big ones right now are the focus on return on investment and total cost of ownership. And those are far and away the biggest deals, but those require a tremendous amount of variables to do those calculations the right way. And so from my perspective, getting fleets educated on how ROI and TCO work, and what it actually means to make these sustainability commitments in terms of dollars, that for me is a huge takeaway.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the most difficult things, and I've dealt with this the last couple of years, is explaining to people, I know this is going to cost us money. You have no idea how much money it's going to cost us later if we don't spend this now. And it's the number of owner-operators I know where we've told them, do me a favor, just go find the $15,000 and give it to an attorney on a retainer. Just have the retainer. It's done. It's over with. So that if anything goes sideways, you're not having to scramble to find the money for them. Go find a CPA. I mean, literally to tell people, Dean Croak of DAT always says that you're only as good as your partners.
Yeah.
And that's what this is really about. It's about finding and forging partnerships.
Absolutely. The agenda track here, I mean, yes, this show floor is amazing. This is not something that's paralleled anywhere else. It's an unrivaled floor.
It's a blast. It is gorgeous, by the way. I want to let people know this. There's a reason why it is in the playground of the United States, one of the great United States playgrounds. It's a fun place to be.
It absolutely is. But I mean, what happens in the next halls over with the content and the agenda and the workshops, that's really the driving force with this show, is that all of that educational content is getting out to the people that we need to get it out to, so the right decisions are going to be made.
You're not going to believe this, by the way. We have been talking almost right up to the moment when we have to get out of here. Joe Annotti, who is responsible for so much that is happening over here at the ACT Expo, Senior Vice President, Incentives TRC, and Clean Transportation Solutions, joins us this morning here. What are you looking forward to in regards to just plain old fun?
Well, it's Jazz Fest in New Orleans.
That's where I'm from.
Yeah, come on.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, Russell right now is recording from our new studio at the Degas House over in the city of New Orleans, 6 blocks away. I go back tomorrow.
We're from River Ridge.
You're from River Ridge?
Yeah.
What?
Small world.
Where are you in River Ridge still right now?
No, we just moved to Jacksonville for work stuff, but no, that's family. That's home for us in New Orleans.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
By the way, be a New Orleanian. Everywhere you go, you're going to find another New Orleanian. Interviews and Content Creator Zone with Joe Annotti. Thank you for making all this happen, and thank you for having us, brother.
Appreciate it, Jimmy. Always a pleasure.
You got it. We'll be back on the other side of these messages. Go to RadioNemo.com. We're on channel 146 over here, and head on over to our YouTube channel. Subscribe there. Where can they find out more about you? Make it quick.
ACT Expo. We just go Google it. You find us, and TRCCompanies.com.
All right, man. We'll be right back.